I remember the first time I saw MDK. It was 1997, and the cover art stopped me cold. A guy in this sleek, skin-tight suit, holding a gun that looked like it was bolted straight to his arm. And the name? MDK, just 3 letters. No one could seem to agree on what they stood for. Murder, death, kill? Mission, deliver kindness. My dad thought it stood for something else entirely. I had no idea what I was looking at. But I knew I had to play it. So today, let's find out if it still holds up. My buddy Chris actually got it first. His family had one of those monstrous Pentium machines. 90 megahertz, I think. Way beyond my family's clunky 486. I remember standing in his basement watching him boot it up, and first-person shooters were king. Doom clones were everywhere, so when I saw MDK was a shooter played in a third-person point of view, I made fun of him a little. I said something like, "What's this? Tomb Raider with aliens?" He just laughed and handed me the keyboard. What I didn't know then was that Shiny Entertainment, the same crazy people who made Earthworm Jim, had built something completely different. They weren't interested in following id Software's playbook. Nick Bruty, the designer, said he wanted to move away from cartoon games and into science fiction. Man, did he ever. I watched Kurt Hectic jump off a space station called the Jim Dandy in free fall towards Earth, and then deploy this weird ribbon parachute. My skepticism turned into confusion and then curiosity. Then, when he pulled off that sniper rifle and zoomed in 100 times on an alien's face, I was hooked. Over time, I began to respect what they were trying to do, but I didn't know the half of it. Here's what you need to know about playing MDK. You are Kurt Hectic. You're a janitor. Yeah, a janitor. Your boss, Dr. Fluke Hawkins, is a mad scientist who got stuck in orbit, and now these alien mining cities called Minecrafters are eating the planet. You're the only one who fits into the crazy suit that he's invented. The core loop is brilliant. Every level starts the same way. You jump from the space station and go into an atmospheric entry. You've got to dodge the radar beams and anti-air missiles while falling. Then you land on the Minecrafter, fight your way through its exterior and interior. You kill the pilot, and at the end, you ride up the energy stream back to extraction. That's step 1. Now, step 2 is where it gets really interesting. Your Coil Suit has 2 main modes. Running and gunning uses the chain gun attached to your arm, with unlimited ammo, which is a relief, but the real magic is the sniper mode. You detach the chain gun and mount it to your helmet. Boom, you're in first person. You can zoom in up to 100 times. You have 5 different ammo types, including homing missiles and mortar shells. And here's the catch. While you're in sniper mode, you cannot move. Enemies can still shoot you, so you have to find cover. Pop out, line up the shot, and pray no one sneaks up behind you. It's tense in a way that most games weren't back then. You also get that ribbon chute that deploys automatically. It's great for long jumps and surviving falls. There are smart bombs that you can call in, but only if you collect the airstrike pickup first. Plus, ridiculous weapons like the world's most interesting bomb, which makes enemies gather around it so you can detonate them, and the very large hamster hammer which shakes the ground. Believe it or not, there's also snowboarding sequences, slider sections, and bombing run minigames. Every level feels completely different. The designers each built their own levels, which explains why nothing really repeats. The only things that genuinely bothered me on the first playthrough were the controls. Keyboard only, no mouse look by default. The fact that you couldn't save mid-mission and how short the game felt. I finished it in a weekend. Now let's talk about how it looks. MDK was a technical showpiece in 1997. Here's why. Most 3D games relied on GPUs, but Shiny wrote their own programming language and used pure software rendering. They wanted the game to run at a minimum of 30 frames per second on any machine with at least a 60 MHz Pentium and 16 MB of RAM. They pulled it off. You wouldn't believe the attention to detail. The Minecrafters are truly city-sized. You can see their scale when you're falling from orbit. The enemies, called grunts, come in different varieties. You've got soldiers, robots, turrets, tanks, and attack ships. And the bosses? Each pilot requires a completely different strategy. One fight has you sniping from a distance. Another has you dodging projectiles in a tight room. The color palette's moody. It's got a lot of grays, metallic blues, and alien greens. And the PlayStation port actually improved the colors, up to 32,000 on screen at once, because each texture had its own palette. The PC version was limited to a single 256 color palette by comparison. Go figure. Animation used motion capture, which was groundbreaking at the time, and they broke down the motion scripts by individual limbs, so they could mix and match movements. That's why Kurt moves so fluidly when he runs, jumps, and snipes. MDK gets the job done visually. It's not Quake's gritty brown corridors, it's weird, colorful, and technical in a way that still impresses me. The PC version soundtrack was composed by Todd Dennis and produced by Tommy Tallarico. It's moody, industrial, with a lot of ambient, electronic beats. It fits the sci-fi tone. Compared to other shooters of the era, MDK's soundtrack is more atmospheric and melodic. You won't leave humming any tunes. It's functional, it builds tension. Fortunately, the sound effects carry the weight. The chain gun has a satisfying thunk-thunk. The sniper rifle sounds so powerful, and the voice acting is deliberately cheesy. Dr. Hawkins sounds like a manic professor. Kurt barely talks, which fits his reluctant hero vibe. The PlayStation port actually had to compress the audio, so there's a little degradation, but honestly, unless you're an audiophile, you won't notice. And here's my honest take as someone who's played this game back in the day. Even as a Quake fan, I was blown away by MDK. It wasn't trying to be Doom. It wasn't trying to be GoldenEye. It was trying to be its own strange, ambitious thing, and for the most part it succeeded. A few things that I dislike about the game are the tank controls. Moving with the keyboard just feels stiff compared with mouse and keyboard shooters. And the length. You can beat MDK in about 6 to 8 hours. That felt short even back in 1997. And lastly, the story is kind of thin. I mean, you're a janitor saving Earth. That's funny once, but the plot never really develops beyond go kill the next guy. But of course, the goods outweigh the bad, and the sniper mode alone was revolutionary. No other game that I can think of let you zoom in that far, with that much precision. And the sense of humor, the ridiculous weapon names, the sarcastic manual. The weird ending with a French music video, that's pure, shiny entertainment. You want a comparison? The PlayStation port added new warp forms and had more vibrant colors, but the PC version ran smoother to me and looked sharper at higher resolutions, so pick your poison. And here's what others thought at the time. Next Generation magazine said MDK was a game no self-respecting gamer should miss. GamePro gave it perfect scores. The only common criticism was its length. It was just too short. And MDK sold over 400,000 copies by mid-1998. That's a success for a weird PC shooter. Interplay wanted a sequel immediately, but Nick Bruty was already working on Giants, Citizen Kabuto. So BioWare, yes, that BioWare, took over. That one's worth playing too. A third game was announced in 2007, but it never happened. So to this day, MDK remains a cult classic. And if you've never played it, go find it on Good Old Games or Steam. It runs on anything. Just be prepared for some old school controls and a game that ends way too soon. And here's the thing. When I fired up MDK again while researching this video, I was a bit nervous. Would the magic be gone? Would the clunky movement ruin my memories? It didn't. Because MDK is more than a shooter. It's a reminder that in 1997, some developers looked at the first-person craze and said, no thanks, we'll make something stranger. And that weirdness still shines through. Alright my friends, this is the Retro Gaming Boss signing out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.